Percents, decimals, and fractions. Our book does separate this into two different sections. One covers percents and decimals, the other covers percents and fractions. As far as notes, I combined it into one, but we'll still take a couple of days to practice this. So, you've converted fractions into decimals and decimals into fractions. You know, 0.5 is equal to 1/2, 0.25 is equal to 1/4, vice versa, and so on. But now we'll work on changing percents to fractions and percents to decimals. So, to change a percent to a decimal, move the decimal point 2 spots to the left. I use all caps for emphasis, or I'm yelling at you. I'll leave that up to you. Okay, so 22%. There's an understood decimal right here, at the end of the 22. So we move the decimal over 2 spots. So we say 0.22. You don't have to write the 0. I make a habit of doing that because I feel like it makes it more clear where the decimal point is. So I would recommend it, but it's not required. If you just write 0.22, that's okay. Here we have 45%, so our decimals here, we move it to the left 2 spots. So we've got 0.45. Here there's a written one, not just a assumed or implied one like the first two, but we still just move it to the left 2 spots. So 0.785. So make sure you do include all the numbers that are included in the original. Okay, now this one is 0.53%, so it's actually a very small amount. That's less than 1%. So when we change to a decimal, we still move it to the left 2 spots. So then they're going to have the decimal and then 2 zeros before the 5.3. That's a very small amount. Okay, now we're just going to do the reverse. Here we started with percents, changed it to decimals. Now we're going to start with decimals and change it to percents. So just like we're doing the opposite, the process will just be the opposite as well. So we'll move it 2 spots, the decimal point 2 spots to the right. You can think about it this way. It's like we're multiplying them all by 100. That's what would move it, the decimal 2 spots to the right. So we take this decimal, move it 2 spots to the right. That would be 23%. We take the decimal, move it 2 spots to the right. That would be 89%. Move it 2 spots to the right, and we get 37.5%. Move this one 2 spots to the right, we get 253%. Now, you may be thinking, how can we have more than 100%? Well, if we're talking about a group or a population or anything like that, we can't have more than 100% of something. But when we're talking about growth, it can be more than 100%. So you can think about it this way. If we got 1 inch of rain today, and we got 2 inches of rain tomorrow, then the amount of rain we got increased by 100%. But if we had 1 inch of rain today and 3 inches tomorrow, that would be an increase of 200%. Prices can also go up by over 100% over time. All right, so that's percents to decimals and back. Now, percents to fractions. So to do this, we will put the percent over 100 and simplify. So we'll take the percent sign away and just write 37 over 100. And that has nothing that we can reduce. There's no number that goes evenly into both 37 and 100. So that is the whole story. However, for this one, we'll write 4 over 100. And 4 and 100 are both divisible by 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 100 divided by 4 is 25. So our final answer is 1 over 25. Okay, 22 over 100. Those are both even. They're both divisible by 2. So I'll divide 22 by 2, divide 100 by 2, and I get 11 over 50. Okay, now these are a little bit tricky. So what I would recommend you do is change this to a mixed number. No, this is a mixed number. Sorry, change it to an improper fraction is what I meant to say. So 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So rewrite this as 7/3 over 100. Now we don't want a fraction inside of a fraction. So we got to get rid of that denominator. To do that, we multiply the top and the bottom by 3. Because it's really 3 over 1. So that 3 and that 3 cancel, leaving you just 7. And 3 times 100 is 300. Okay, now the reason I kept this as a fraction is 1/3 is 0.333333, and it's really messy to try to figure out what to do with the decimal that never ends. So on this last one in this section, 37.5%, you are welcome to make it an improper fraction. You can do 37 times 2 plus 1. I guess that'll give you 75 over 2. So let me do it that way, and I'll show you another way to do it. And you can just pick which way you like better. So 37 times 2 is 74, plus 1 is 75. So 75 over 2 divided by 100. Then we multiply top and bottom by 2 to get rid of that denominator. We get 75 over 200. Let's see, I think the biggest number that can go into both of those is 25. So 75 divided by 25 is 3. 200 divided by 25 is 8. So we get 3 over 8. So that's one way to do it. Another way is a half is pretty easy as a decimal because it's just 0.5. So you could say 37.5 over 100. And then just like we don't want a fraction inside of a fraction, we don't want a decimal inside of a fraction. So we can multiply the top and bottom of this one by 10 and get 375 over 1,000. And then you can reduce that, and you'll end up with 3/8 as well. You could start by saying both of these go into 25. I think there's a bigger number, but 25 is an obvious one that'll at least get us in the right direction. 25 would go into 375 15 times, I believe. And it'll go into 1,000 40 times. Then those are both divisible by 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 40 divided by 5 is 8. Okay, last section. Fraction to a decimal to a percent. So unfortunately, there's no direct way to convert a fraction to a percent unless it's over 100, and then it's easy, like 37 over 100 is 37%. And sometimes, like this one, it wouldn't be hard to change it to 100. You can multiply top and bottom by 4 to get back to this step. But it'd be a little messier with these to try to do that. So we'll first divide the fraction to get a decimal. Then we'll move the decimal point over 2 points to the right. So we're really going to use what we did in section 2, but first we'll actually turn it into a decimal. Okay, so you might know some of these. Like I think I know 3 of these off the top of my head what they are, but there's something like I don't remember what 6/7 is, but anyway, you can do long division. Just remember what's in the bottom's on the outside, top's on the inside. So 5 won't go into 4. That's why I wrote the decimal. Then we treat this like 40. So I put a decimal right here. 5 goes into 40 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40. So no remainder. So we've got the decimal. So it's 0.8, and we move it to the right 2 spots. So that's 80%. Okay, we'll do 7 divided by 8. So again, 8 won't go into 7, so I put the decimal here. 8 will go into 78 times, that'll be 64. Don't forget the decimal like I just did. Remainder is 6, so we'll add another 0, bring it down. It will go into 67 times. 7 times 8 is 56. Another 0, bring it down. 8 goes into 45 times exactly. So 0.875 is our decimal. Now we move the decimal 2 places to the right, and we get 87.5%. And this one did come out to exactly 3 places. This one, these next two, I think go on forever and ever, but you can just stick with 3. So this one came out even at just 1. You don't have to go farther once you get to 0, but whether or not it stops at the third number is as far as you have to go. So you'll see what I'm saying on this one. So you do 6 divided by 7. 7 will go into 6, but 7 will go into 60 8 times. So that's 56. That was remainder, so we add another 0, bring it down. 7 will go into 45 times. 5 times 7 is 35. Still have a remainder, pull it down. Put another 0, I mean. 7 will go into 57 times. 7 times 7 is 49. So that doesn't come out even, but like I said, that's as far as you ever need to go. I'm not going to make you go any farther than having 3 numbers. So we'll move it to the right 2 spots, and we get 85.7%. And 4 divided by 9. 9 won't go into 4, but 9 will go into 40. 9 goes into 40 4 times. 4 times 9 is 36. Remainder of 4, bring down a 0. 9 goes into 40 4 times. 36. Remainder of 4 again. And that would just keep on going forever and ever. 4/9 is 0.4 repeating. So like I said, just go to 3 numbers and you can stop. We move the decimal to the right 2 spots. We get 44.4%. Now, as you work on homework with this and classwork, I really encourage you to have this sheet of notes out there with you so that you can see the guide and the directions on what to do to solve each of these. It'll help you as you're learning and getting in the routine of it.